One thing now I have been listening to Wangeesa's talks and I have been practicing the mainstream Dhammas for a while. But when I realized the suffering is still the same, we are learning a lot, but it's not the same. There is a decline, but when the real suffering is coming, it's still there. And when I started listening to Wangeesa Dhamma talks, your talks, I started to feel a huge difference. It's not completely finished because I know there are times that I only understand, I have the knowledge, but then I gradually started to see how am I going to realize this, especially when I suffer, and then applying it not as a knowledge but seeing it and then understanding the way the mind is working. That's how I thought it's helping. Even last night, because we didn't invite my friends here. I did it mainly for the kids because I want them to get exposed to Wangeesa's talks. So without seeing you, without coming to see you, they won't be able to really grasp it. So I was in a little bit of both Sepalika and both, what if they're here, now, they'll be very upset with us. That thought came early morning, and then I started to get, wow, what? Then I heard, then I got you talk in Sydney, and you explained something really nice. What you said was, at that moment when you have something, that fear and that suffering, but it goes away gradually without us even doing something. And then I thought that's exactly right. I mean, in the past, how many things have happened, but that moment we were suffering, fear and suffering was there, but now it's gone. And I thought that's the way the mind is working. At that moment they just bring so much bulk, and then it goes down. Is that how I should practice Bhante? Is that right, the way we do?
This is not a practice.
Yeah. No.
It is totally understanding yourself, understanding your mind. Because when we practice something, we are trying to change that we are not. Right? Always we have a struggle in our mind. We want to be a someone or something. We can't accept as we are. Right? So we want to change to someone else and something else. So for that, in our lives, we are doing many things, right? Because in our fantasy we have a imaginary thing, imaginary person or imaginary situation or imaginary thing. This is what should be, and then we are doing different things to achieve that. Right? So then we heard about religions and we heard about spirituality, and we are doing the same thing, the same pattern. Right? In our imagination we are creating something and we are trying to achieve that, and we are not accepting what we are. Right? So by only accepting what we are, that is the path to freedom. Right? So if we chasing something, if we try to achieve something, if you try to get rid of something, so until you have that kind of thought process, thinking pattern, and you will not get rid of suffering. Even you are not trying to get rid of suffering as well. Right? Then it will become a suffering. It is a vicious cycle. Right? So it is totally by understanding your own mind, how your mind is working. It is not a religion. Most of the people think this is a religion. Religion is more of a cultural thing. We have a different cultural backgrounds. We do a different thing based on our cultural backgrounds. But this is not a culture. It is totally understanding the culture and understanding the behaviors of the people and understanding the behavior of our own mind. Right? And it is not doing another set of thing that you have done in your life.
Bhante,
Yeah.
why are we trying to understand our mind?
Because now, what is the tool that you are using most?
Your mind.
That is your mind. Right? So, the problem is, when we as a as a kid, we don't have that much of suffering. Look at it. Right? Right? But when we grow up, the things are changing. Right? When we grow up, things are changing. Right? But let's say if you use another tool, let's say when you use a smartphone, right? The first time you are using smartphone, it is difficult. First time you are driving a car, it is difficult. But after some time, it is very easy. But what is the scenario with the mind, your own mind? It's other way around. Right? When you have more experience with your mind, right, you get more suffering and more difficult to handle. Right? That because we are not trying to understand our mind. We try to understand everything else, right? Everything around us. But the tool we are using to understand everything else, we are neglecting it. Right? If you understand your own mind, right, then the things, all the scenarios is changing. Right? The mind is like you are giving a sharp knife to a monkey. What will happen?
Damage.
It will be a total disaster, right? But if you give a sharp knife to a good chef, what will happen? He knows how to use that. So, the mind is like a sharp knife given to a monkey that doesn't understand anything about that knife and the purpose of that knife. So, mind is like that. So, if we know how this mind is working, not others' mind, right? Because we can read others' mind. Right? We can understand how others behave, right? Most of the time we think that we can predict others, but we can't predict ourselves. We can't read our own thinking patterns. what are the originates, right? What base the mind is working. So if you get good understanding about that, then the life is very easy. So this is not a religion, right? Most of the people think this is a religion. This is some set of doing some set of rituals and get some own therapy, and this is not like that. This is totally understanding. It is not based on the culture, right? As I mentioned earlier, different people have different cultures, right? Different cultural backgrounds, right? But the way of my mind working is same. So this is beyond the culture. This is beyond the religion. To simply understand your own mind. If you get a good understanding about of your mind, then your life will get more easy. You will get rid of suffering, and you will not get stressed, right? That's why it is very important to understand your own mind.
Bhante, can
It's okay.
So Bhante, I think then the trick that happens, especially with us that are so familiar with doing something to achieve something, is the next goal becomes, okay, I'm going to try to understand my mind, so I'm going to do these things to understand my mind. And then we get back into the system of trying to become someone who understands the mind, to do something to understand the mind. And again, I think we're on a wheel, perhaps. So I've been listening to Bhante's talk, and Bhante mentions we're not trying to become someone, we're not trying to do something, but somehow there's a little confusion. But usually when I want to understand something, I'll read a book, I'll sit down, I'll walk, or whatever. So now then, what is Bhante's advice around understanding the mind? If those other things are not things that we're trying to do at the same time.
The understanding in the mind is same understanding your own life, right? Because your mind is your life, right? You do different things in your life, right? All of you doing different things in your life. Most of the time you drive with happiness. You want happiness and you won't get rid of suffering. So you want to go away from the suffering, and at the same time you want happiness. So you are doing a lot of things in your life, right? In every person have the same struggle, right? So they all want to get rid of suffering and achieve happiness, right? The problem is what is suffering and what is happiness? We are trapped into this rat race without understanding the suffering and the happiness. Most of the time, the happiness came from the happiness is not coming from it is basically happiness is coming from a relative perspective, right? Yes. So let's say if someone is get a good salary, right? Let's say about 10,000 right? He's getting the increment on $500. There's another person, he's having only a $3,000 salary. He's getting the same amount, 500 salary. Who is more happy? First one or second one? Huh? Second one, not the first one, right? Okay. So, even though we think we get all the physical thing around us, then we will get the happiness. The happiness will not work like that. For the happiness, we need to have some kind of a relativity. To relate to something, only we can have the happiness, right? To build a relativity, we need to have a two set of standards. Right? To relate to this, only we can have the happiness. And also, the happiness is coming from a hope. Right? If you have a hope, then there's a happiness. But once we achieve it, the moment we are achieving that, we have a happiness. But once we achieve that, then happiness will go away. Then we have to have set another target to get the happiness. Right? Okay? But once we achieve that target also, then the happiness will go away. Because we need to have some kind of a gap. Right? With that gap only we can enjoy. And not only happiness, we enjoy the suffering as well. Right? So, I think most of you have seen the horror movies, no? And when you watching a movie, right? Imagine there's only happiness in that movie. People are dancing and eating and they are smiling, and what will happen? Do you enjoy that?
You get bored.
You will get bored. But if there are incidents happening and there are sufferings and there are different kind of emotions, if they are visible in that movie, then only you can enjoy that movie. Even that in your life, you are not only enjoying the happiness, you are also enjoying the suffering. Right? Because you create happiness relate to the suffering. If there is no suffering, there is no happiness. Right? There's no happiness. Right? So you have to understand that. The second thing is, we think the world we are experiencing is the physical, it is a real thing. But try to observe your mind. Most of the time you are living in your own imagination. So let me ask you your question. What is the how you can distinguish between the reality and the imagination? What is the imagination? What is the imaginary world you are living, and what is the real world you are living? What is the difference between the imagination and the reality?
Everything is imaginary.
feel that everything is reality. Isn't that your experience? You experience it as everything is a reality. But if you look carefully, observe your mind, it is all of the time, it is just an imagination. That imagination only give you the suffering as same as the happiness. All the emotions that creating is just an imagination, right? So, but you feel these imaginations as real, right? It is like the main problem is you can't get aware on the awareness of this your situation of this mind. The mind is, even though I call this mind, there is no mind, right? Right? Even mind is an imaginary thing. Always I use the word mind because I want to communicate with you. But there is no mind. The mind is an imaginary thing. It's just another imagination. So, when you look carefully, when you observe carefully yourself, all the time, you get suffer because of you tapped into your own imaginations, right? You feel those imaginations as a reality.
But let's say one day, say something happened in my past. It's something. It's not an imagination. It's really happened to me in the past. So we are suffering because of that. So you're saying that I'm thinking right now, and it's an imagination. But I know it really happened. Say last month, last year. Because we do a lot of stupid things in the past. But at this point, we suffer from those things. And thinking that why did I do that at that time? Likewise. So it's not an imaginary in that scenario.
Let's say now I ask you to remind your past. Now I am asking you to remind your own past. Then after maybe 1 hour, again I ask you to remind your own past. Is that the same?
It's not the same, but it's 90% same, but might be 10% different.
Every time we try to remind our past, the image we are getting is not the same. If you look carefully, right, it's not the same. Right? The second thing is, before try to understand the past, what is the present? What is the present?
There is never a present.
Now, you think now you are experience the present moment, right? Then you think that this present moment, the memory of this present moment, you are experiencing as the past. So what is the present moment? What is you are experiencing right now? Let's say, now I am erasing all the memory, right? All your data. I am erasing everything. Now what you can see from with your eyes? If I erase your memory, what you can see with your eyes?
We can't imagine anything because we have erased everything, and even we don't understand what even you are saying.
Even the present moment is just creating with our imaginations. Right? What you are seeing is not what she is seeing. It's total different things. Even in this moment, you are living in total different universes that created by your own imagination. Even that present moment is not a reality. If you look carefully, when this present moment is not a reality, if you look carefully, if you observe carefully. So, since we are experiencing the present moment is a reality, then only we get that illusion that the past is what we have experienced. The memory of experience is the past. But to understand the past, before understand the past, you have to understand the present moment. The present moment is just another imagination that you are creating, because you can't experience what other person is experiencing. It's just your own imagination. So that's how we have to understand the past. The past is a complete illusion that we are experiencing.
How can we say it's an illusion that we know something is happened really? You experience at that point of time. We experience that thing and we know it's really happened.
Now what?
I know it's imagination. Now I'm imagining what's happening in the past.
Now what I am asking you is, what is the present moment? What you are experiencing right now?
Right now I'm experiencing like what happened in past. Right?
Now what is your experience right now? It is a reality or your imagination, based on your imagination.
Right now I'm experiencing the imagination which I was feeling like that you are wearing a white, yellow, you're a monk, and those information is fed into myself, and with that I'm generating what we call an imagination, and that's what I'm experiencing.
If you don't have a memory, you can't see anything. No, you can't experience anything. So past is like while you are dreaming, when you are in a dream state, you are going to another dream state. It's like a combination of collection of dreams.
So if the present moment experience, let's say I erase everything, but I see a glass of water there, not let's say thing.
You can't see this glass of water.
There's something. Let's say glass of water is a label. And
no, let's say what I am talking about. What is your experiencing? The thing that you are experiencing as a glass of water, right? Is that the something that you are talking about?
When you see a glass, let's say that example, you have some kind of feeling. So that's all it is. I mean, I call it.
Now, without touching, even without touching this glass, you feel that this is a very hard thing. Right? You get the feeling about the water. Right? But you are still not touched this one.
So you actually recognize water and the glass because of your previous experience. That's your previous knowledge.
No, even your previous experience is something similar to this. Now your present experience is based on a set of imagination. Your previous experience also is the same as this. Don't try to jump into conclusions, right? What I ask from you, observe your mind, right? Observe the present moment. Observe what you are experiencing right now. Is that a reality or imagination? Just observe. Don't jump into conclusion, right? I am not giving you conclusions, right? Because in all your mind, all your what happened up to now is you are just making conclusion based on beliefs, some set of beliefs. In the first time in your life, I ask you to don't go to conclusion. Don't try to believe what I am saying to you. Be observed by yourself and try to understand what I am trying to say.
One thing in the past, with the usual practice we have been doing, we thought we are trying to understand the mind. But until I started listening to Bandarawela's talk, because even the meditation, when we started, they said that is the way to touch the mind. That's the way to understand the mind. But I could not. I didn't have the skill. At the end, I just gave up. Because I thought I'm just suffering more by trying to do that. That's how I ended that practice. And then I suddenly got to listen to Bandarawela's talks, and because you are giving so many different ways of looking at it, even though we listen to your talks, but for a while, they were all knowledge and views again. And I left it. I just thought that's not going to help. So I just listened, and then without trying to fix with that view, but I can see the way that you are throwing different cross sections to be able to see the mind. That's very helpful. I'm still, it doesn't mean that I totally understand, but there is some kind of understanding which really brings me more, let's say, happiness. As you said, I think what you are trying to say at the very beginning was that because we have created this person like Kaushi, so we try to make her happy, that imaginary person, but we are not truly understanding the truth here, because one thing is you can't say there is a person and we have just created it, and you can never do it. And then we think we are suffering again. We have two labors and trying to get rid of that and achieve that. So which never can be accomplished.
Yeah. That is the real suffering.
Yeah.
That is the real suffering.
That is.
Now, calm. let's go to that previous question. Is there an object exists without the observer?
Both happens at the same time.
You can argue in both ways. And the object, even if I don't exist, still the glass exists. Glass might exist.
That is in your imagination.
Yeah.
The existence of the this glass, let's say, now we all are here, right? One person can argue, even though we are not existing, the glass is existing. The existence of that glass is on your mind. Your imagination that even though I am not existing, the glass is existing. Right? Then there's another way of thinking of that. Then you can imagine, when I am not existing, the glass also not existing. Right? That is also imagination. What I am trying to say you is, that's not, there's an, you can think in two ways, that it existing or not existing. Right? The same thing, the same thinking pattern you is in both ways. You are in the same thinking pattern, the existing and not existing, right? So what I am trying to the message that I am trying to convey to you, that does not belongs to the existing or not existing. It's beyond that, beyond the existing and beyond the not existing. Because existing and not existing is just your based on your own imagination, right?
So you will never know whether something is existing or not for real. It's always an assumption.
Yeah. Always you are tapped into your own imagination.
Is there a way to get to know that whether something is existing or not?
No, you can't. You can't just imagine, but only thing you can be aware, that is you are only imagine. You are tapped into your own imaginations. Right? You can only imagine. The existence or non-existence is just your own your imaginations. That's the only thing you can understand. If you try to know anything beyond that, it always comes into your own imagination, right? It is just another imagination. To understand this, I will ask you a simple question. What is Brisbane?
What is?
Brisbane.
Brisbane. Yeah, it's an imaginary place that we have created in our minds.
What is time?
It's an experience.
It's the construct. It's a construct.
Mm.
Okay, so nothing can be experienced without going through the mind, sort of. I don't know what mind is, but the awareness, let's say.
Let's say now, for the experience, we call mind. Not mind is experience, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the awareness is the same thing.
Awareness is the same thing.
Where is it coming from? This awareness or consciousness.
So, the question you asked is where it is coming from. It based on the space, isn't it? You think there's a space. So then, if there is space, to something come to this place, there should be another place. From that place to here, it is coming.
Right? What I meant was, what causes for it to arise, this awareness?
For the awareness.
Yeah.
For the awareness, now this is not a fully correct answer, right? Because I am saying that this is not a fully correct answer. Everything I am expressing using a language is not correct. Because a language itself is the illusion that we have created within our mind. It's like a Brisbane or it is like a time. Now time you can't even time you can't even experience, right? Even Brisbane you can't. So if I ask you what is Brisbane, you can't say anything.
But
right?
time we experience through change. Because when we see the changes, like even in our body, from childhood to old age, there are changes happening, and also anything that we see. Through change, we become aware that there is a sense of time through change.
Now, based on what we have said, time is an illusion, but change is real.
Change is also what we experience, and why it is happening? I mean, what causes it to arise? This awareness and change.
Now, let's say there's a God, right? And one day the God want to create you, right? 1 second ago, God created you, right? With the memory of 50 years, right? With the memory of 50 years, God created you 1 second ago, right? So, how you feel right now? Do you feel that you all 1 second or you all 50 years?
So if it was created to feel 1 second, it is 1 second.
But now God is created you with 50 years of memory, right? But 1 second ago. How you feel?
Yeah, then if it is programmed to feel 50 years, then you feel 50 years.
The change is something like that, right? Now, have you seen there's a image, there's a photo, right? There's a pain that create to understand the life cycle. There's a newborn baby and he is growing. In the same same pain, right? And he's growing, and then he's become old man, then he's died, and all the skeleton and everything is in the same picture, right? Is that a one picture or different pictures?
It depends on how you define the picture. So if
let's say there's a one picture,
yeah,
with all the things.
Yeah.
Actually, it is a one picture.
One picture. Yeah.
Right? The change that you are experiencing is a one picture. Right? It is a one picture. You can't experience the change. Can you experience the change? Actually, you can't experience the change. Change is another illusion you are creating by yourself. Nobody can't experience the change.
But I don't actively do anything to make that change. And the way I saw myself before, years ago, is different now because I didn't make it.
Who is you?
That whatever the picture that I see.
Is that you?
Yeah, may not be, but let's say that picture, it doesn't even have to be me. If something else is changing, so that change itself, is it happening or not?
So, most important question is, who am I? Let's say I am taking a photograph of you and print it and frame it and put it in the wall. Is that you? Is that you?
It's an image.
Is that you? Now?
It can be described in many ways, like you know, because the body doesn't you know, always behave the way I want, or then you can't own it, it's not mine, all these ways you can talk. But awareness is who I am, and everything else is an experience through awareness.
For the experience we call actually, now take a photograph by keeping your hand like this. Take a photograph, right? And what is you and what is you are not. Now, right now do that exercise, right?
Yeah.
Keep your hand like this, right? Now tell me, what is you and what is you are not?
I am the experience.
There are different ways to understand this, right? Most of the time people say, this is me, right? And this is not me, right? The hand you are seeing is me, and everything else is not me, right? And another way of looking at that, the hand also not me, everything else also not me, that experiencing, someone is experiencing behind that, right? That someone is seeing this one. He is on this side, he is the me, The everything is not me. Even hand is not me. What is everything is not me.
I think the total experience is me.
Yeah. Now let's say that everything is the hand and everything is, it's not there. Is the experiencer is existing without that?
It's conditioned.
It's the same thing. Right now, what is you are experiencing is the you. Everything you are experiencing is the you. For that experiencing, the experience you are experiencing, we think they are a separate person from to that experience, and he is observing in everything. But the same experience is the experiencer. Is for that experience, what you are experiencing, we call it you or me or.
So why don't we experience the same thing? Why is there change?
Now, the change is also another experience you are experiencing. Can you always experience, even though I am saying you, that you is not existing, right? Every time I use the word I or you, what you feel is you is there. There's one set of experience is coming and it goes, and another set of experience is coming, it goes, right? Like that, like you are watching a movie. There's once frame is coming, right? And you are here, you are experiencing the movie. Then another frame is coming, right? Now it is changing, right? But there
has to be a you.
Yeah, and the spectator is still, is watching. Only frames are changing. But this spectator, the experiencer, is that exists without that frame. No. In one frame, there's a image called change. Right? In another frame, there's no image called change. Do you experience the change in every time? Or if you imagine only, you can experience the change. I don't know how.
So if I didn't imagine that I am getting old, I would remain young, would I?
You are neither be young, you are neither be old. And you are not, the whole experience is you.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
are now you think this is I. When you go to your own body and you say this is I, right? But all the characters around you is actually you.
Yeah.
There are young, there are old, and a different kind of label you are putting, but all experience is you.
Yes, Swami Mohansa, but my question is about, the total is me, total experience, but in that experience, everything changes, not just this body, all the other bodies, and at different rates. Now certain things, for a long time, they look the same, only after a long time you will see certain change. But some things rapidly you can see that.
Is the change happen on your imagination, or is the change is really existing?
But in that, through the thinking, I don't think that this has to change or this is changing. It is the experience that I'm getting without even going through conscious thinking.
Yeah. Now, that is right, because now what is our experiencing is always we feel as a reality. Now there's a little kid, right? That's your son, no? Is he feel same as what you feel for the change? No. Right?
Yeah.
Two different people will not get the same feeling about this change. Right? Even you are not also feeling the same feeling about this change. If you put the pair of glass, right? If you put wear a sunglass that filter only red color, then you will see everything as a red. If you put a filter of change, right? And everything is impermanent. Everything is changing. That kind of filter, if you put that kind of a filter, then you will feel, everything is changing, everything is changing. Right? Isn't that? Right? It's based on your perception. Actually, change is a perception. Right? If you put that perception, that filter, then you will experience it as everything is changing, everything is changing. But if you remove that filter, then you can't see anything change. Right? So, what I ask you to be aware of this, right? What you experiencing as a change, is that real? Again, ask this question from yourself, right? Challenge yourself, right? Actually, to get the awareness, we need to always challenge our thoughts. Because we are in conclusions, right? We have to always challenge our own conclusions, right? We have to challenge our own experiences, because based on these experiences we are creating different set of perceptions. Based on that perception, we are creating our world. Now, initially I ask you this thing, can you see anything from your eyes? I will ask you this question. Can you experience anything with your eyes? Can you see anything?
No.
Based on that only you creating the change. What you see is actually not real. It's based on your imagination. Right? What you experiencing right now, if you don't have if you don't have the memory, you can't see anything. You can't say this is Bhante, this is my friend, right? Right? This is a house, this is a glass of water, right? Everything based on our imagination, right? The language is our imagination. The time is our imagination. Based on that, we can say that I am seeing, I am experiencing the world. So, if it is not real, how the change will become the real? The change is, only we can imagine the change based on, we can, with the illusion of, we can see things. Can you see anything right now? Can you?
So it creates a lightness to our existence. We have created a much heavier thing.
Actually, our existence is an illusion.
Yes.
We feel as we are existing, but it is not. It is like we are dreaming. We are in a dream. We are dreaming. Even the dreamer is existed within the dream, but there's a dream, but there's no reality. But within the dream, everything is real. Right?
So the more you understand the illusion, the less clinging there is, because there's nothing to cling to. There's less and less to cling to.
Yeah. Now, if you understand that everything is me, every experience is me, there's no difference between you and me.
Yes.
Right?
That I understand, but forgive me.
It's okay. No worries. Ask anything. Argue with me.
I still struggle to get this now. The perception of a newborn baby, and the newborn baby then changes to like a 2-year-old, and so this is still me, the whole experience. But we all see that, not just my consciousness. Everyone else sees the same thing. And this, what perception do I need to change in order to see the newborn baby, not the 2-year-old?
Don't try to do that. Right? Don't try to do that. So then you are artificially creating something else. Now, when
not that I want to see it that way. I'm just trying to understand it in a different way, questioning that way. Why do we? I mean, is this change not real? I mean, I didn't make that person newborn baby to become a 2-year-old. I didn't do it, and it's isn't it happening? That's the question I'm asking.
Without your imaginations, can you create that?
I don't think I created it.
No. You didn't create that.
Yeah.
Without the imagination, can you get that feeling about the change?
That means that whatever we experience through our consciousness, awareness. That's what I think. That is what it tells me with that.
So how we create the world? One is with, now all of you have the same, everybody is saying that the world we are experiencing by seeing with our eyes, seeing, and hearing with our ears, and sensing with our tongue and hand and everything. We are sensing. By with these 5 senses, we are sensing the outside world, and then we are creating something inside. Then we call that as a mind. That is the idea now you are in, right? So now what Siddhartha, what he has done is question those 5 senses. Question those 5 experiences. Number 1. Can we really see anything? Is that the process that we are calling seeing, is that real? The process that we are calling hearing, is that real? The process that we are calling sensing, is that real? So, based on that, we are creating other everything. The change, not change, permanent, impermanent, and aging, and everything. Time, space, and everything we are creating based on those. Right? Now, I ask you the same question, right? Is that the process you are calling seeing, process that you are calling hearing, and process you are calling sensing, is that real?
I think it has different layers. Now, senses is an aid that the information, data is received by senses, and it has to be processed or perceived by the consciousness in order to experience. Without that awareness, whatever that falls onto senses won't be registered in the consciousness. I mean, that's the way, for me, I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
Now, let's say if it is like that, now for a smartphone or a TV or a PC computer, we are giving the data in 0, 1 format, right? 0, 1 format. Then there are images created, right? The different world created, right? So, based on what you have said, the 0 or 1s, right? The inputs is not the image that created. Right? It's totally different thing, right?
Yeah.
But the images we think as this. Right? Even 0 and 1 also, what is? That is also image. That is not related to what is the input, right? The input is total different thing. Based on the inputs, the creation in a computer is total different, right? Even what is that input? Now we can generate a computer image. What is the input, right? How this input happen? That is also what is that? Can you really imagine that? Can you really create within the computer screen? Can you really interpret? Can you really represent what is happening at 0 and 1 level? I think you have understand what is happening in a computer, right?
Yeah, but by feeding different data, you can create a different
that data level can you represent in a screen level? What happening in a data level?
No, you don't have to. It's that is exactly what's happening, because we get certain data, we don't know what form of data, but it's created something, an experience, that maybe in a picture.
That data that you are in experience as in picture quality, not the data input, right?
Yeah.
Even this is how the data input, also another picture. That is not that. That's what I am trying to say, right? But there are two different way of thinking, right? In most of the Western philosophies, right? People think the world is existing based on the inputs, that the world is already existing. Based on the inputs, we are creating our own experiences, right? But in some Eastern philosophies, they have a different perspective, right? Based on that Eastern philosophy, first there's only experience. There's no world called world, right? Now, if you close your eyes, right, what do you experience right now? If you close your eyes. Right, open your eyes. Right? There is something, right? We don't know what it is, right? There's something. Then you put some names on that. What are the names you put? Actually, you are not the one put that. Then you are putting some names. What are the names?
I saw some colors and heard the sound. Yeah.
Initial experience, there's nothing called heard. Initial experience, there's nothing called heard. There's no names. There are no names. After that, we put some names. The sound. Heard. Who heard? Then we put I. Right? Around that, we are creating a world by using a language. Right? The initial experience does not belong to that language. Right? There are no I in that experience. It's just an experience. There's no experiencer. Right? It's just a sense. Right? There's no name for that. Right? Then we put names. Not we put, right? Then there's a names. Right? We call a sound, heard, I, and their object. Right? Now there's an observer, object, and world, and now everything is there right now. Now world is existing. Right? In most of the Western philosophies, it will take as the world is existing, and then we came to this experience. But there's a other way to look into this. In other ways, is first only there's a sense. Even we can't call it a sense because there's no name on that, for that, right? Then we put names. Then we are creating the world. This is two different way of thinking. But in some modern physics, quantum physics, next level of quantum physics, now they are going in this direction, right? Then now they are not telling the world is existing and observer is existing, right? I think some of you have read those articles. Maybe some of you have go through those next level of physics. Then you know this is, they are not saying now there's a world is existing, then experience is existing. They are not saying that. Right? But you don't have to be a you don't need to have a PhD on physics to understand this. By simply observing your experience, by simply experience your mind, by simply understanding how your mind is working, you can get the knowledge of whole universe. You can get the idea of the time and the space and everything. You can get the idea of all creation, whole universe. You can simply, very simply, you can get those idea, right? Okay. Only one lady is questioning me. So what about others? Simply ask anything. Then some of these things are what I am telling you to. You will may get really confused, right? So ask the question that relate to you.
Yeah. If, because the way this is the problem. What you just described is that we only have these labels and words and language to explain any of this or even think about it ourselves. They're like the only tools, it seems, we have. So then how do we let or release ourselves from the dependency of these tools and understand this experience and what's going on in the mind in another way?
If we got to understand, if you understand our mind more and more, be aware on mind, then this life is not a very hard place. Because I know, you all are struggling with your life, right? Some of them are imagining their afterlife, right? What will happen in afterlife, after the death, right? It is just a set of imaginations. Based on that, different religions born, right? Because of different people have a different imagination what will happen after the death. But that is just an imagination created right now. Right now in your mind you are creating an imagination what will happen in after the death, afterlife, the next life, what will happen. It's just an imagination. And you trapped into that imagination and you feel it as a real, and you get fear and you try to do something to get rid of that, right? If you understand it is just an imagination created right now, there's no fear about afterlife or anything, right? Then you created the death. What is the death? What is the death? This is an imagination. Right now you are creating an imagination about death. It is not real. So then you are trying to do something. To avoid that. Right? In your life, try to understand your mind. Then you see most of the fears, I think all of the fears are coming from this imagination. It is not real, it is not existing, it's just you create it. And you try to get away from that. Right? It's like you are dreaming that a dog is behind you, try to bite you. That dog, when you are dreaming, a dog is trying to bite you, and you are trying to escape from that dog, and you are try to run away from that dog. Right? In a dream, can you escape from that dog? Can you? You can't. The only way you can escape from that dog, you understand this is just a dream. In same as in your imagination, you create a lot of questions. Now, observe your mind. What will happen? It creates different scenarios. Right? No? Different imagination and different problems. In one imagination you are accident, and in one imagination you are falling from a tree. In one imagination you are fall in love, right? In one imagination you get divorced, right? Different scenarios, right? And then you trapped into those imagination, right? And then you creating solutions for that. That is also solutions also. That is also imagination.
But at the time the solutions are based on fear.
Yeah. Then you try to attain Nibbana. You are trying to go to heaven, and likewise you creating different scenarios. But all are the problems that created are just imaginations, and the solutions that created also just imagination. Right? The answers, the conclusions, everything is imagination. If you got to understand how your mind is working, right? The time that you feel is just imagination. Without imagination, you can't feel the time. Right? Then the next thing you may think, then the imagination is a bad thing. Imagination is not a bad thing. It's like you are watching a movie. Now let's say a movie, a good movie. It's a good thing. Only problem is you are watching a movie and you are crying. Right? A good movie is not a bad thing. Imagination is a gift that you have. Right? But if you don't have the awareness on imagination, that is the suffering you have.
Fear is a good acronym. It's for false experience appearing real. It actually explains what fear is.
And also it is a habit. Even suffering is a habit.
Excuse me, Bhante, I have two cases. That's I can't explain. That is 100% imagination. One case is now you are delivering speech to us. If that is fully 100% my creation, then without coming here, I would able to listen.
There is no you and I.
Yeah.
For that the experience, that understanding, then for that then you create you and I.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, look carefully look into that. Right? Is there you and I on that awareness? What you experience is there you and I?
I think there is, because I've created a you and I.
You and I also are creations. Right?
So everything is all in one picture.
Yeah.
So everything is interdependent. Because
Interconnected.
one thing is existing because of the another.
Yeah, interconnected.
Yeah.
Nothing is existing without the other. Even so, sorry?
My second line.
No, yeah.
Now at the moment I am experiencing a headache, but headache and eye, everything may be labeled, but feel something. How that one explain? That is also not my 100% creation, imagination. So
The headache, the word headache, right?
Yeah.
And I feel, the word I, word feel, and even word imagination.
But it feels something bad.
So, let's simplify this. What is your, now you have 100 questions, right? Let's say that your headache is real. That may be less than 1%. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Worrying about that 1% is the 99%. Right? You are worrying about that 1%, that is the 99%. You are trying to avoid that 1%, that is the 99%. කාටරි සිංහලෙන් අහන්න ඕන අහන්න මේ අපි පටන් ගත්ත වෙනද ඒ පැත්තට ගියේ එහෙම අහන්න ඕන නම් අහන්න කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ අපිට යන්න
I think
පුළුවන්.
Bhante, the other problem is the headache. He thinks it is continuing.
That is imaginary headache.
Yeah, that's right.
Bhante, is the 99% our problem? and the 1% our problem, or is only the 99% our problem? Is the
First
1%
you have to understand the 99%. Then only you can understand 1%. Right? Okay? So you need to separate the 99%. Right? When you get a good understanding, good awareness on the 99%, then very simply you can understand that 1%. Most of the time, people try to understand the 1%, they miss the 99%. That when you try to understand the 1%, that also becomes the 99%.
So we are used to being occupied in this 99%.
Yeah.
So if then we have some realization that this is not a worthwhile occupation, is then the mind goes to a different occupation. So what is the skillful way of, because our mind is used to being occupied about something.
The simplest way is, now let's say there's a doctor and a patient visiting that doctor, right? So what is the best way of to understanding the situation of the patient by a doctor? Is by a logical approach or by an emotional approach? Logical approach. And the doctor need to be a good observer, right? Likewise, you need to create your own doctor. Right?
So be occupied within logic.
And he should be from the outside. Because now we put I and me. Right? We put I and me. When you put I and me, right? You are becoming you are going in a emotional approach, right? Because sometimes let's say there are incident or something happening that you are not involved. They are not your relation, not your friend, nothing real to you. Then you can very clearly see the big picture. But if something is related to you, right, then your mind gets clouded. You can't understand anything, right? Now, let's say between you and your husband, between you and your mother, there's an argument going on. Right? If it is an outside person, he can get to understand what is happening more clearly. But the person who within the argument, within that struggle, can't get any understanding. Right? So be an alien.
Yes, Bhante, and then you said as part of your talk before, and it's not, I'm not questioning it, I'm just coming back to it. You said, so we imagine a scenario, we imagine people, a person involved in a scenario, and we imagine an observer as well. But that's a skillful
actually
thing.
this observer I am talking about, also imagination.
Yes, okay.
But sometimes we need to create that to understand this creation.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So you have to be outside. Be outside and observe yourself. How you think, what you are doing, and don't judge. Judge and observe are two different things. Most of the time you are judging. You are interrupting. You are putting labels. This is bad, this is good, this shouldn't be happening, right? Don't judge. Even we are putting label like a good, or this is a good thing, this is a bad thing, this is a right thing, this is wrong thing. That is also, those are our creations. There's no good or bad.
Is that
There's no right or wrong.
Is that ability to observe without judgment an innate thing? We just have to, is it something we have to cultivate, or is it there already? The ability to observe without judgment or getting involved.
No, it is a skill.
Yes.
In Pali we call it kusala.
Yes, ma'am. It has to be developed.
Yes. By having this kind of a conversation, you are creating that kind of awareness, that kind of a skill.
Yes, ma'am. Are there other aspects to developing that skill beyond discussion?
Always question yourself. Always challenge yourself. Your conclusions, your thinking back.
Yes, ma'am.
Because only savior you have is you. I am just a friend, just visiting you. I am not a guru, right? I am just a friend, and give some insight to you, right? This thing, what the illusion that created around you, you need to break it, and you need to go out from by own.
In this similar way that we talked about observing that judgment, you mentioned using logic over emotion.
Mm-hmm.
How do you discern whether you're actually being logical at that time, or if you think your emotions are logical?
At the end, you will get to understand that even logic is an emotion. Right?
But we have to start somewhere.
But you have to start somehow.
I noticed that sometimes it's trying to practice in the way that...
It is not a practice, right?
Yeah. So when I sit and try to observe...
It is not a... Maybe you continue your life as it is, right? You may do in a job, you may have in an argument with your relatives, right? You may drive in, right? Continue to do everything. And while you are doing that, observe, right? Sometimes you are trying to sit in one place and try to understand what's happening in your mind. That is like you are creating an artificial space. Right? Let's say you want to, there's a person that he wants to learn to drive a car. He doesn't know to drive a car and he wants to learn how to drive a car. Let's say he is sitting in a room and closing his eyes and imagining how he's driving. Is that the way?
That's true. Sometimes while I'm trying to observe day to day, which is obviously very broken up, because maintaining the
Yes,
being able
it's having a good it's having a good quality me time.
Right.
Right? It's a good thing.
And do you
But don't do it in artificial way, right?
It was more
Because then
yeah.
now you in within a day you are doing a lot of different things, right? And you are busy with that. Then you are busy with not doing anything. Also, you can get busy.
Yeah. That's why it's like a rest to go and sit.
Yeah.
But then it gets caught up with these ideas about sitting and that you should be doing something then while you're sitting and all of that.
Then
And then actually
not
you can
doing
become more
is
frustrated.
not doing is also another doing.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
very
So
interesting.
don't do anything in artificial way, right? Just relax. Be simple as possible.
One is sometimes we have to act in an artificial. They say just right and wrong, but you said don't differentiate between right and wrong. But if we want to do something wrong which is not socially acceptable, we shouldn't do it.
The social acceptance is the illusion that we collectively created. Be aware on that. I don't say that what is that there's in social acceptance there's right, wrong, and good or bad with the social acceptance. But it's difference on the culture, difference on the country, difference on the organization, different on the family you have. Just be aware on that, right? But don't be a slave on that, right? Be aware on that. Sometimes you have to act, right? But act with awareness, right? But don't drive with those things, right? Most of the time you don't have the awareness and you drive with those things, with that the illusion that created collective. You ask from one person to one person, go and ask. Then you feel that, you will get to know that all of them are blindly following. All of them are blindly believing. They don't have the awareness. They are just blindly following. They are collectively have the same illusion, right? They don't have the understanding, right? Now, let's say there's an alien came to this planet and watching from outside, as outside. What is people is doing here? What will happen? Now, I will ask you a simple thing. All the technology and everything, what we do to get an easy life. Right? Do you have an easy life? Maybe you have a very, very hard life than your parents or your grandparents. Right? But we are always developing new technologies to save time. Do you have time?
Because we feel that with other ways.
Yeah. Right? So what is in the collective, collectively in the society may not be the right thing, right? Don't drive with those things. Be aware of them.
What are things, what can we do to improve our ability to observe and reduce our
This is the most effective way. Have a conversation. Now, while we having this conversation, right, you are at the same time you are observing and your thinking pattern is very broad, right? Your awareness is automatically increased. Right? This is the most effective way. Having a good conversation, open conversation. Within conversation, we try to make conclusions, and we try to defend our own conclusion. Right? Put your conclusion aside, right? And attack those. Don't try to get another set of conclusions. And defend your own conclusions. Right? Be open. Having an open discussion is the most effective way. If they have any questions, I can continue.
Is it
Okay. I am
we
not.
can still do it after
I am not a slave of the time.
But it's really whenever. But it's really so we can continue with
Okay. Anybody have a question? We can continue. So if everybody is happy, we can end the discussion.
I feel your talk today was a very nice, complete to me. If once we have had time to consider it more, Banda, are you happy for us to contact you with questions?
Or if you want, you can arrange a Zoom discussion.
Yes, Banda.
Then we can discuss.
Thank you, Banda. Sometimes I find that I go to very nice talks and it just takes some time to process.
And Bhante will be here for another 8 days.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants something, spare some time.
Even within this discussion group, you can observe yourself. You have question, but then you have the fear as well. What others think when I ask this question? Because always this I, this me, then always give you that uneasiness.
So why are we always struggling? Why is the system set up for struggle and not for, like, it's like not, if we just let it be, it's geared towards suffering. Is that? We have to
fighting against
because most of your thinking patterns, right? The main element for your thinking patterns is given by the society, right? the religion, the science, and the time, and the everything, and what is you call the development and successful and success and everything, right? It may be a few hundred years ago, people not suffered to get their basic needs, right? Houses, food, medicine, and everything. But now it is getting more harder and harder, right?
But suffering existed all along. Like
Yeah.
Existence
Now,
is suffering.
yes, but now we call it development.
Yes.
But actually, development happen how you how much you understand your own mind. Initially, I told you that what is happiness and what is suffering. If you get a good understand that, and what is the system, how the system is run, if you get a good understand that, then you are not in the system, you are pretend to be in the system, but you are not in the system, right?
So it's like that saying, being in the world but not of it. And when you say just observing, so when you are aware of fear in yourself, so like asking a question or speaking in a big group, is it so you stay aware of that fear, you just observe it, but you speak or act anyway, and the more you just observe that feeling or that whatever it is, it will just start to change. So all there is to do is just to observe and be aware. And when do you act?
Most of the time we drive to now, let's say you, how you create your own identity. Right? You think that person is thinking about me in this way. That person is thinking about this way. Right? My mother and my sister or my colleague or the person who in the road is thinking, he's looking at me, and he has an image, this kind of an image of me, and we try to please everyone and try to create the good image for them. And also at the same time we have our own imagination also. We have I, this better I, based on these things, right? Then we try to be what that they are demanding, right? We try to please, and we try to create a good image, right? Then that is not you. There's a gap between real you and this imaginary you, right? Then you have the suffering, right? But when we look carefully, you think this woman she's thinking about me, and she's looking at in this way. She has this kind of image about me, but that is not within herself, that is within ourselves, right? In our mind only creating these different perspectives, right? She also in busy in doing the same thing. She don't have the time to think about you, right? Others don't have time to think about you, because others also have the same struggle. They also think that person how she's or he thinking about me, and they also have the same struggle. So if you understand about this thing, then you are not driving with this creating your identity, creating your brand, right? Then you are simply is you. That is in more naturally you. You are not driving with what you are not thinking about what others think about others thinks about me. Then you are very, very relaxed, very calm, and in a very, very natural way, because you are not worrying about those things. All of worries are inside your mind. You can't imagine what others think, right?
Can we trust the natural you? Like we're always trying to be better because we don't trust maybe this natural state?
If you trust natural you,
yeah.
there will be not suffering.
Yes. So it's that lack of trust,
yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
because we think that without all of this we can't be better. We want to be better because we don't think this is good enough.
Mm-hmm. Because now, as a kid, right, as a small child, he is not bothering what is happening around him. He is just being very natural. Right? Then after some time, right, we are worrying about what others think about you. Right? We need to be the brand name I should be in. You want to be place that into a structure, right? You create your own structure, right? There's no structure, right? Then you create a structure and try to place you over there. You try to defend your brand name. You try to promote your brand name, right? You want to be to be a very important person, and you are doing a lot of things to be prove that, right?
Sometimes it's not even that you want to be a better person, it's you want others to think you're a better
person. Yeah. And you are creating an illusion around you, right? Then you are get trapped into that illusion, and then you are a restless man or woman. You get stressed every time to doing that. But if you understand what is happening in your mind, then you are not worrying. You are not acting, right, anymore. It is natural you.
And then Bhante, so with that then, the natural you, it just effortlessly will bubble up, and your life will sort of like unfold without, it's sort of like an effortlessness.
Yeah. Sometimes we are doing things with the effort, and we are not doing things.
Not forcing them.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you meant was not doing. Not doing is also
also doing.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, it's like a concentration headache.
Yeah. And you do meditation and everything. That is just not doing. You try to improve your mind, concentrate something else, and
I genuinely feel like I don't know how to not. Like it's been so long.
It's now. Don't worry about tomorrow. You are worrying about tomorrow. What will happen tomorrow? What will happen next time? Do you have anything to worry right now? In this moment? No. Right now, in this moment, there's nothing to worry.
No, my mother said it's okay. Time is in his vocabulary. Time doesn't exist. No.
So Bante, if we were all to be like a little child,
Yeah.
all of the time,
That is
You
you.
will be dancing.
it would be chaos. Beautiful chaos. So, I guess my question is, I would love to be like this all the time. At home I am, when no one's watching. But I guess as you become more an adult, then
We are becoming more childish.
I guess then there's responsibilities and things that we have to take care of. So is that where, as we mature, well, as we are not really mature, but as we get older, we develop more awareness, and that we
Actually,
if everyone was doing this all the time.
When we are getting older, the first thing we are losing is the awareness.
So is it okay to be like this all the time, everyone?
No problem.
Thank you. We can all go.
Dementia.
We can all go home now.
But the problem is now this child has,
Yes.
there's a, what is it is called, there's a, he can be easily brainwashed and got corrupt.
Yes.
No? But with the awareness, you will not have that. Right? But he's in nirvana. He's in the heaven without the awareness. So, very simply, it can be turned upside down. Even the society will, the system will give him some ideas and all the information and everything, then he will change. But with the awareness, if you have the awareness, even 1,000 people around you try to give you, try to feed you different ideas, that won't happen, because now you have the awareness.
So as we get older, it's like we are refining the awareness. Like this child has amazing.
The only thing he doesn't have the awareness, and other things he have, right? Right. So, if you can be like him with the awareness,
Yes.
that is the right thing. Okay.
Otherwise, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So then in parenting, Bhante, just what is your advice?
Parenting.
Yeah, so
In the parenting and in everything, in parenting, now we, in our imagination, we want a future boy, future person, and we try to mold to that, to be that person, right? That is the worry. And don't try to mold anything, just facilitate.
So if there is a human that is now somehow connected to you, and they're like this, but it's the awareness that will make them a subtle human, then you facilitate that awareness, or just facilitate life?
In Buddhism, we say come and see.
Yes,
and we are not forcefully try to spread ideas. Right? We wait for the right moment, but in a very natural way. Right? We are in every person. Their problem is they are trying to market their idea. They are trying to forcefully. They are trying to put their idea to others. But in simple way, come and see. When he is ready, I am ready. And when he is not ready, I am not ready. Right? It should be very natural way. First, look after you, right?
Yes.
Do it. If you don't have a skill to look after you, how you can look after someone else?
Bhante was talking about you and that thing here, the gap. But after the realization of there's no you,
that's a one way of understanding this. Yeah.
So with that, with business, for example, in the world, when running your own business, it's very challenging, I find, to in some way you have to have a brand, you have to market yourself, and this is what I find challenging, is how to stay with this knowing that there is no I, the ego, but also in the world, to make my business work, I require an image, and I require marketing.
Two way of solve that problem. One thing is now let's say you have to you are an actress and you have to act on a stage drama.
I see. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's a one way.
Yes.
Other way is always question yourself. Now you do everything for your inner peace and your happiness. So if you have to do a thing that affect your inner peace, inner happiness, is that worth to continue? Right? Okay?
I see.
Okay.
So it's knowing that you are acting.
Yeah.
You're putting on a show. It's,
Yeah.
it's that knowing and not losing yourself
Yeah.
in that. I see.
Or choosing not to act.
Or choosing